What's going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of Knowledge Kicking Knowledge. Today, we'll be continuing our series on reprogramming the subconscious mind, and we'll be discussing the power of celibacy, semen retention, and NOFAP. So, let's get into it. Now, I think last time I checked my numbers for this channel, 70% of the audience is women and 30% are men. So it's always, interesting when men reach out to me and, we really connect. And since I've been doing this series, it just so happens that a couple fellas reached out and all have asked how they can reprogram their relationship with their sexuality, and this led me here to really talk about the power of celibacy, semen retention, and NOFAP, So I actually took it upon myself to, check out this topic within the YouTube universe, and I was freaking shocked. There are so many people out there who talk about this. Like, NOFAP is an actual whole movement out here, okay? And this kind of leads to what I said in my horoscope for this week. Having knowledge of something and, putting that knowledge into action and living with that are two different things, and this particular topic really speaks to that. So, you guys can get the knowledge and information, but what you do with that knowledge is ultimately going to show the effect that it has upon you. All right? So, where I want to start with this is that your sexual energy as a human being is literally, your biggest asset. It is your superpower. And the more you study, the more you'll understand that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, right? And to some extent, we can look at our body, right? Our body and our hormones and things as our animal nature, okay? So if you look at animals have only a couple of desires, which is to survive and to procreate, and procreation borders on the line of survival for the species and things like that. So that is essentially what sex is. It is put on or induced by the survival instinct to procreate and carry on, the species. And, with mastering your sexuality, it really helps you elevate over your animal nature. So that is just food for thought that you really, really want to know. That is probably one of the biggest benefits to this, is that it helps you master your animal nature. So discipline over your animalistic self gives life to your true desires, okay? So how this ties into the, the subconscious mind is that going into this state allows you to really come into alignment with the purity of yourself, okay, and your true desires. And when we're blinded by our sexuality, we get distracted from those real desires. So understand that, someone who has control over their sexual nature is really in command of themselves. And that is kind of what we want to achieve within the reprogramming of the subconscious mind, is control and having it to work for us rather than against us, okay? So think about it. If you have a programming where, it says, I'm a highly sexual person and I feel the need to constantly, reproduce, you want to go in and reconfigure that to say, I want to become a producer. I want to take that energy and transmute it into something more creative. Okay? And ultimately what it does is it gives birth to your higher genius. It helps your higher genius come through. So that's on, look at it on one level, sexual desire helps you survive and procreate, but on a higher level, it helps you create things that really help you survive. Inventions, okay? Think about the things that we have now. I always think about, like, who the hell thought of deodorant? Like, before deodorant, human beings were, naturally smelling how they're supposed to, but man, that is just like a hell of an invention. Somebody became enamored with smell to the point where it's like, I'm going to find a way to smell better, okay? Or take care of your teeth, toothpaste, right? This shows the higher level of creative energy, using that energy to create things that help the human race survive, other than just creating more human beings. Okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to go back to yourself before you opened up your relationship with sexuality. Okay? And what it is a certain innocence. It's a purity. Think about the things that you were really, really passionate about. And I can guarantee you at that time, you had no distractions. You were completely enamored with how to fulfill that particular goal. So understand that when you take the time to be celibate and abstain from, wasting your sexual energy, you become more focused. And like I said before, more aware of your true desires or your higher desires. Very important. So what I want you to do is I want you to look at sexual energy as like a gas tank, right? And when your gas tank is full, you have more drive, okay? So people who, conserve their sexual energy without question have more drive. They have more of a hunger for life and achievement. It is the thing that makes you want to succeed, okay? And then if you drain yourself of, that energy, or your gas tank is running on low, you're slower. You're not thinking as sharp. So then there's some more food for thought. The next time you do, have sex, look at yourself from the standpoint, especially this is where like orgasm comes in, particularly for men and men ejaculating, right? There are indeed ways, right, through and techniques that men can learn to be able to orgasm without ejaculating. And what that does is it actually makes you more energized. So if you're internally keeping this energy in, you're like replenishing yourself rather than draining yourself. And that's what occurs when you ejaculate. Okay? So the men in particular really want to keep that in mind. And there are techniques, like Tantra, the Tibetans and things like this are big on that. You can learn testicular breathing. All of that goes hand in hand with, the raising of your sexual energy and life force. Okay? Now, the next thing is when you abstain from sexual activity, particularly pornography, you're able to raise your vibration higher. This is a thing people don't really realize. And through my years of gaining knowledge and observing others and just, saying certain things to, some people, there is an over-identification with pornography, and some people feel justified, you know, in that, where it's like a form of self-expression. Oh, you can use it to learn. But in reality, and this, you know, can do a whole nother video on this, when you masturbate to pornography in the spirit realm, what you're actually doing is you're opening a portal for lower vibrational entities to attach to you and drain your life force. It's just like a fact. It's a fact. It's a part of that that unseen world, but it definitely exists. So I can, you know, the best I can do for you to really understand this is that if you observe and you just pay attention to the quality of life of someone who indulges in porn, like whether it be a porn star or producer, there is a dark cloud that follows that person. And the best comparison I can make is that if a person has a sex tape and that sex tape is public, right? And we could use, I hate to use her, you know, but Kim Kardashian as an example, there is a lack of respect that is attached towards that person. They can do a lot of great things, but there is a lack of respect. There's some integrity loss. That is part of what I'm saying, where your vibration can only go so high. Because the truth of the matter is, sexuality is something hidden. 8th house, right? It is something, or 12th house, something that happens behind closed doors, right? And that isn't really supposed to be exposed. And when you do, you really do just limit your ability to vibrate higher. And you know, vibration is a large scale. So that's the biggest thing you really have to keep in mind, that there are entities out there that attach themselves towards you, that keep you feeling, like I said, lethargic, you know, foggy, and not having that same drive as if your sexual energy is on full or up high. Okay? It's just the truth of the matter. So, you know, overall, what it does here, when you abstain from this thing, so ultimately sex is like, it's so pleasurable that it's so powerful, it ultimately becomes a distraction. So when you limit yourself from this and you're able to program that, you know, that thought or that desire in different areas, you become more well-rounded. You become more versatile. You become more alive. These, like, this is the best way I can say it to you, you know? So this is one of the biggest secrets out there, guys. If you want to achieve a goal, become more successful, you know, dedicate more time and energy, step away from your sexuality and transmute that energy a bit higher. Okay? I'm actually going to do more videos on this because, you know, I'm such an old school occultist in the sense of, like, you know, knowing that certain things are just meant to be discovered on your own, that I wasn't even aware that this was such a public thing. So I will definitely be coming back with more videos on this topic. All right. So feel free to let me know what you think, you know, your thoughts. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, feel free to do so. If you want to reach out to me, shoot me an email. Until next time, peace.